Trying to make sure everything is working properly this time. Hope everybody's having a good night. If you're watching this back or if you're joining live. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started for tonight. Thank you for those that are watching back or joining now for the second stream, where we're gonna really focus on kind of the big 4 AI models that are on the market now. ChatGPT, which is going to be OpenAI, Anthropic, which is Claude, which is the one that I use on a daily basis. Also Google Gemini, for those of you who use Google Workspace or those types of Google products, you might be seeing this, the little Gemini thing in there, which we'll get into a little bit later. And then one that you might not be familiar with, Grok. We'll be talking about these 4 kind of where they are in terms of their ability for AI, their agentic capabilities, all those sorts of things, kind of going through some demos of different use cases for real world purposes, not just business kind of automations tonight. So we're kind of just have a nice casual night where we're kind of go through all these different things and just try to learn as much as we can to see which one might work best for your specific use case. Like I said, the one that I use daily and for my business is Anthropic. Most of you are probably super familiar or have heard of ChatGPT. That is the one that I would say probably has the most users to date. It was really the first one that kind of started this whole AI movement and revolution that we're kind of seeing now with ChatGPT 3 back in, that was probably 2020-ish, 2021. I know that my first exposure to AI was with ChatGPT 3 when I was at UF. They had just, the campus had just put in or given NVIDIA a very large grant to build a AI infrastructure building on campus that was right next to where my lab was. And that was kind of where I even got the kind of first glimpse of what AI was. And ChatGPT 3, that was really, I would say, archaic in terms of where AI is today. You would ask it simple math questions and it couldn't figure out 2 + 2 equals 4. But I think the concept behind it, obviously OpenAI has, I would say, probably on the forefront of artificial general intelligence, which is kind of their motto and their creed of giving AGI to all of humanity and making sure that it benefits it. But like I said, tonight we're just going to kind of go through these 4 big players. Obviously, these are the 4 big US models. There's large amounts of Chinese models that are kind of on the up and coming in terms of their intelligence. We won't talk about those tonight. I just want to focus on kind of the 4 ones that most people might have seen or have really heard of. So like I said, ChatGPT, this was the first one that I kind of got exposed to, and really what started my kind of journey into learning about AI and kind of using these tools pretty much every day since, I would say, 2022 is when I started to really use these. ChatGPT and Claude, I would say, are probably 1 and 2 in terms of the level of intelligence that these models have. Each of them have their own skill set, I would say, in terms of what they're really good at. I wouldn't say any of them are bad at anything. In today's world of AI, I think AI technology is well past the point of being bad at things. But like I said, ChatGPT and Claude, those are probably going to be the top two front runners for intelligence and utilizing those things. They're kind of building their models on top of different platforms and connectors that you can pull into the actual platform itself. Last week we talked a lot about kind of Claude and bringing in various connectors or other platforms that are able to be pulled into those sorts of things. And ChatGPT, I would say, has a very strong amount of connectors that they're building on top of. So with that, we'll kind of go ahead and jump right in with ChatGPT. So as I said, this is going to be the one that probably majority of people have heard of. This is the one that has a lot of advertising behind it. Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI. Kind of his mission is ensuring AGI benefits all of humanity. So they're really focused on creating artificial intelligence that benefits individuals. It's really like personalized. It's geared towards being kind of your assistant in day-to-day life. It can generate obviously information, but they also have the image capabilities that can generate images. They also have Sora, which is their kind of video model that can generate short, I think it's like 8-second clips of video, which is actually pretty good. I haven't used it much because it's only 8 seconds. It's not really something that I would say has much benefit for me for being 8 seconds. But they still do focus a lot on not only the intelligence side, but the image generation side, the video generation side. And then they also have their kind of Codex, which is the AI system for work. This is going to be similar to Claude Code or Claude Cowork. I would say it's not as developed as Claude Cowork in terms of like how integrated it is with other things. Claude has it's integrated in the Microsoft Suite, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, where Codex is not there yet. Obviously, I think they have their hands full with the actual intelligence model, the image generation model, the video generation model, where Claude is really just focused on the intelligence model and generating kind of the work aspect of that model. But I've used Codex a little bit. I would say it's right up there with Claude Code in terms of its coding ability to generate applications, generate agentic workflows that can be used in business scenarios for automating business tasks, those types of things. I would say it's right up there. It seems like Claude or OpenAI and Anthropic are kind of stair-stepping each other with the model releases. Anthropic will release, their latest model, and then a week later, ChatGPT's releasing their latest model. So they're kind of the forefront of developing the most intelligent models, and I think it's interesting and kind of fun to watch this battle that they have. But back to nope, don't do that. Back to ChatGPT. I'm kind of just gonna go through each of the individual platforms, like on the actual browser, kind of show you what they're capable of and those sorts of things. I would say ChatGPT and Claude, like I had mentioned before, they're going to be the two kind of most intelligent models, and we'll get into Gemini and Grok kind of here in a bit, what they're really good at. But if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, I pay for the $20 plan. This opens up the ability to use codecs, gives you a little bit more actual usage to kind of interact with their models. Everything, I would say, I don't really use it that much. Like I said, Claude is kind of my daily driver that I'm utilizing. But I like to keep up with all the models, make sure that I'm kind of understanding what's going on and what they're good at, what they're bad at. In terms of ChatGPT, I would say it has everything that you would need. If you were to come in here, and you'll see it a little bit later once we get into kind of not the demo side, but the actual utilization of the models, you'll see this as being able to generate Excel files, generate Word documents, those types of things. So they're really focusing on kind of integrating with other applications, making your life a little bit easier in your day-to-day life. They also have the ability to make these GPTs, which are kind of like specific use cases that you might need. If we were to go and explore these, they have a bunch of different ones: education, lifestyle, writing, productivity, research, programming. So these are going to be, I wouldn't say agentic in terms of their ability to actually like integrate with other platforms, but they're really good at very specific use cases. Some, I would say, like what is it? I haven't used GPTs much because of kind of the advancements in AI. GPTs were really like super popular, I would say, about a year and a half ago, where you could really come in here and make a very specified GPT that could do a very specific task for you. So whether that be, generating a grocery list based on your food choices, those types of things, like very specified use cases. Still has the ability to browse the internet, all those sorts of things that AI is really good at. But they do have the ability to kind of make those GPTs. And then projects, this is going to be similar between all the platforms. I think Grok is the only one that right now doesn't have the ability to make a project. But this is where you can actually upload files and use that as reference for the language model to actually help with like doing a specific task as well. You can also give it instructions on how you want it to like behave, how you want it to answer, all of those types of things. But like I said, this is something that was another kind of big groundbreaking thing when they came out. Being able to reference files, for me as a business owner, projects were super useful, where I could upload my kind of business profile, how I wanted to speak, what actual products I like sell within my business. I could upload all of that and give it very specified instructions on how I want it to respond. So it was super useful for that use case. ChatGPT, I would say probably, I don't know the numbers, but I would say probably out of all users that use AI, I would say probably 60% are using ChatGPT. That's, like I said, the most well-known one. It's the first one that was on the market. It's really kind of been there since the inception of AI. But as we move to Claude, again, this is the one that I use every day, where ChatGPT kind of has the three different focuses: the intelligence model, image generation, and the video generation. Claude's sole focus is on the intelligence model. Actually, the CEO of Anthropic was originally on the team at OpenAI. That's a similar thing between OpenAI, Anthropic, and Grok. They're all affiliated with kind of their CEOs being heavily involved initially in OpenAI, and they kind of broke off and started their own AI platforms and kind of went from there. So again, Claude is the one that I use every day. Has all the same things that ChatGPT does: chat, projects. As you can see, I have a bunch of projects here. Artifacts. This is going to be essentially what Claude generates for you. So whether it's a document, whether it's a kind of what's the word I'm trying to find? I'll just go ahead and click on one. So what artifacts are is it can give you like code snippets for specified use cases that you're working with it. It can actually generate, I'm trying to find one that might be like a visual artifact, like HTML file that can kind of show you like a visual. Say you're trying to design a website, you can come in here and it will give you a little preview of what it might look like before actually generating that code for you. So all these different things that ChatGPT has that as well. It just doesn't have a designated piece for it. Claude, what they've done, they've used that as like kind of the front end of potential automations and those types of things to kind of give you again like the visual aspect of what you're trying to build. Any document that it might generate for you, it'll be housed here, and you have the ability to save it here within this artifacts to make it like readily available. And then they also have the customize. This is where you're going to be able to connect all those apps, kind of what we highlighted last week with Notion, QuickBooks, HubSpot, all those different things that the connectors that they have. I think they're up to, gosh, I don't even know how many they're up to now. But what Anthropic's goal is, they are really trying to be the most capable AI in the world. They're super focused on safety. That is why I choose Claude over OpenAI. I would say their safety measures are better than OpenAI's. There's certain things in ChatGPT that have happened over the course of its inception that I don't agree with. Ways that you can manipulate the model to tell you things that it probably shouldn't. To where Claude, they've really focused on safety and making sure that if you're communicating with a model, it's not going to give you information that could be used to harm somebody, harm yourself, those types of things. And kind of really focus on the overall safety of AI, because this is a powerful technology, and it's in the wrong hands, it can be dangerous. But that's going to be the same thing with firearms, cars. Really anything can be dangerous if it's used in an improper fashion. So that's why I tend to use Claude over ChatGPT, just because of their kind of focus on safety. Is kind of where I'm at with that. But they also have Claude Code. As you can see, this is pulled up kind of their app for it. This is what I use for my business and generating automations, kind of working through workflows for that. It's really amazing, both ChatGPT and Claude, the ability to get an idea to an actual application or specific use case has really come a long way within, I would say, the last year. Really, if you're an idea person like I am, you can build anything that you want. And that's kind of where my focus on and fun has come from AI, is just building random use cases or random apps. But it's also something that's fun and started off as a hobby, and kind of now I'm doing it as a business. So the other thing that Claude has that I would say none of the other providers have is this design. If for those of you who kind of follow my social media, you might be seeing some of these different images that I'm posting. That is all Claude design. So I'm giving it an idea of what I want an image or a graphic to look like, and it's going and actually generating that. You have the ability to give it like your design specifications that it can mimic each and every time, and then generate a new idea on top of that. This has come out, I would say, I think it was within the last month and a half, and I'm super impressed with its ability to actually generate graphics and those sorts of things. I've used it for like front-end design for applications that I've developed. So it's been super useful for me. And the cool thing with this is you get a separate usage limit outside of your like traditional plan. So for Claude, I'm on the max plan that you can get, and it's like $200 a month. And then you get the usage for the actual models and Claude Code, and then you get a separate usage for design. So it's been super useful for me to be able to generate graphics and those sorts of things for my business, because I'm not a artistic person in the slightest bit. I can't even draw stick figures. But it's given me the ability to kind of put my ideas in a graphical pattern and be able to disseminate information within that. So it's been super useful for me. Like I said, this is the only, I would say, provider that has this kind of built into their platform. So for those of you who might find it useful, this is really something that I like I said, utilize every day. Kind of just coming in and making various graphics for my business, kind of useful information on how to prompt and those types of things. Like I said, if you've been following me on social media, you've seen many of these images before. This is how I generate them within Claude Design. The cool thing also is you can give it context, large amounts of context, to be able to reference and generate images that kind of follow that context that you're giving. So for like me, if I'm generating an app, I can give it the entire code base of that specific application, and I can have it generate graphics off of that. So that's something that, like I said, has been a game changer for me, not being artistic. So now we'll move into Google Gemini. Obviously, Google is a powerhouse in the technology field. They have Google Drive, Gmail, YouTube, all of those things. And this is where it starts to kind of, I would say, for me, what I use Gemini for, if I have questions about, like, that might be, how do I frame this? Something that might be like descriptionary or like within a YouTube video. All of Gemini's models have been trained on all of the YouTube videos because they own it. So they have a lot of information within their model that some of the other models don't have because they're not privy to it. Like a ChatGPT, Claude, they're not trained on YouTube videos. Gemini is. So for education purposes, I tend to come to Gemini for those types of questions, mainly because of the expansive knowledge that they have from their YouTube videos that they're able to train on. Also, Gemini has been, I would say, probably the leader in their ability to integrate with documents, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. So their Excel, PowerPoint, Word versions, they have been integrated in for, I would say, about a year now. So if you were to open up a Google Doc and want to start generating, like a research brief, it's really good at formatting within those Google Docs. It's really good at generating PowerPoint slides, those types of things. They also have an entire platform that's specifically geared towards like education, learning, those types of things. So they're trying to be into everything that a day-to-day user will use. They obviously Chrome is owned by Google. So I think, where's that at? I think here I might even have Google Chrome. You can open up Gemini within the browser and ask questions on the browser. Also, the other cool thing, Gemini on your phone, you can actually basically give it like access to your camera, and say you have an issue with your car, you can turn on the Gemini app and basically record what you're trying to solve within your car. Say you have an oil leak or spark plug out or whatever, you can kind of just video record it and say, hey, I'm having this issue, and it can walk you through that. They are super good at their vision expertise, being able to understand what is happening in a video. I would say far more than the other models, because they've trained their models on YouTube videos, and that's kind of where you get into this. I would say it's not even an issue, but understanding what model is good for what specific use case. And Gemini, if you're having like a real world issue that you might need, so for me, for example, our water heater stopped making hot water. I'm not a home extraordinaire being able to fix problems. I'm not that person. But what I did, I went down, I turned on the Gemini app on my phone, and I recorded everything. I said, I'm having issues with our hot water heater not producing hot water, and I showed kind of the model of it, and it walked me through how to basically reset everything. And what ultimately happened was our hot water heater got too hot, and it kicked off the safety valve thing to where it stopped producing hot water. Had me go in, I pushed the button to reset it. Now it's generating hot water. It's like those use cases that I couldn't have done that with Grok, Claude, or ChatGPT. So it's really like specified in whatever use case you're trying to do that might be beneficial for you. But also they have their image model. It's really good, I would say. It's probably the second best now, and it's a close second best to ChatGPT in terms of their actual image generation model. But one thing that I literally just tried right before I turned the stream on was their new video generation. It's actually really good. I did a similar thing earlier. Talking pets, talking about how much they love barking, and the quality of it is unreal. This just came out, I think, on Monday or Tuesday or something. Their Omni model, which is their image generate or their video generation model. This is something that, again, it's short clips. It's about 10 seconds. For short advertising, I might be able to use this for my business. But it's also kind of cool just to see the advancement of it. I saw a clip on social media, I don't know, a couple weeks ago of Google specifics, or Google specifically, their progression of video generation.
Do you ever just look at nothing and go bark? It is just pure, unadulterated joy. A good 3 a.m. bark? It's free therapy, honestly.
So, I mean, but what I was saying with their progression of image generation, I think in 2023 is when their first image or video generation model came out, and it was Will Smith trying to eat spaghetti, and he had like 10 fingers. He was holding a spoon, and like it was like not even getting the spaghetti in his mouth. And over time, they've really gotten really good at kind of honing in on very finite details with image generate or video generation, to where now it's kind of scary that you might not even be able to tell an image or a video generated by AI. The only thing I will say is if all AI generated images and video images and videos, they have their kind of watermark on it. You can see the little Gemini thing here. And that's something that I will point out because not a lot of people are kind of familiar with how good these models are at generating video, and you can be easily, I would say, duped into thinking that something is real when it's absolutely not. And you just kind of need to look for this watermark kind of on the bottom corners of the actual video. But I've started seeing, like, especially on YouTube, a lot of local businesses utilizing AI for their advertising. I don't have an issue with it. It's becoming more and more prominent with how well these models are at actually generating video. I know I kind of went off on a tangent with that, but like I said, that was something I tested literally probably 10 minutes before I turned the stream on, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it here. Gemini, within the actual browser, they have their I guess assistants or agents as well. They're called gems. I will say it's not nearly as sophisticated and powerful and useful as ChatGPT, Claude's, and even Grok's. This is something I think they will eventually catch up on. Like I said, with OpenAI, they just kind of got their hands full with all the different things that they're making. Google is also really, I would say, focused on open source AI models. So models that don't require like cost to be associated with them, where you can download them on your phone or your local computer and utilize those without actually having to pay for the account. So that's something that I would say Google is far and above the other three. They're really focused on kind of making AI super affordable, super available to kind of everybody. Even as a developer for me, Gemini per token usage to actually like use their API and integrate it in with apps, I would say is the cheapest one by far. ChatGPT and Claude are quite expensive in terms of like developing apps around their model. Gemini, I would say, is probably about 50% to 60% cheaper. So they're really focused on affordability with their actual models. And for their most recent model, I would say it's about a 10% decrease, 10 to 15% decrease in terms of the actual intelligence compared to ChatGPT or Claude. So if you're looking for like a good overall model that's super cheap, Gemini models are where you would want to be. And then kind of the last one that's probably not hardly anybody's heard of, maybe, I don't know, is Grok. This is Elon Musk's platform. What they're really focused on is understanding the universe, nature, kind of how biological processes, kind of the world works. This is another place that I go to if I'm trying to understand something, because Grok is also trained on all of the Twitter or X data, all the posts that are on there. For younger generation, that I would say X is probably the most popular news source. So for like up-to-date current events, this is where I go for those types of things. World issues, those types of things, because nowadays, if you're within politics or those types of things, people are always posting on X. That's probably the first place that they're posting. So this is going to have like the most accurate up-to-date information compared to the other models that would have to go and search the web. It might have to take 25, 30 sources to get something that you ask it, where Grok is able to just pull 15 to 20 posts that have been posted within the last 10 minutes to really give you that information. What Grok is really good at, again, is that learning type of aspect. I saw something that Elon had posted on X that if you were to score AI models for like their intelligence, I think Grok is like number one in like legal type of questions, science, engineering, really those types of things. If you're familiar with Elon Musk, like you can kind of imagine what this model is good at. It was also kind of started to remove like political bias and those types of things. The non-woke version of AI that some of these models can have if you ask it specific questions. It's kind of uncensored. It has a sense of humor. It will cuss. It will do those types of things to kind of give you a more, I guess, realistic feel to like communicating with it. And sometimes that's useful. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I just want the information. I don't really care about the personality behind it. But Grok, again, they have their image model. It's really good. It's I will say, I think Grok is probably the most realistic in terms of their image generation model. It can generate some pretty scary, realistic video and images. But what I specifically use Grok for, like I said, is like accurate, up-to-date information for news. It's kind of what I use it for. They also have their agentic capability for using multiple agents to answer questions. All of these models kind of have that built in on the back end. One caveat as we get kind of deeper into the stream, I pay for ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok. I don't pay for Gemini. I just pay for the verified thing on Twitter, and then you get Grok with it. So that opens up a little bit more intelligent models. If you're on a free plan, you don't get this expert think hard thing or think hard model. So what it basically does is doesn't open up more agents to kind of address a question. But that's just one caveat as we kind of get going into it. But you can, again, generate projects, all those sorts of things that you can do within all these models. All right, so now that I've kind of heavily went into, this is a lot longer than I was planning, but I think it's useful to kind of go through these 4 specific, because these are going to be the ones that are kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 in terms of intelligence as we kind of move forward in AI and getting smarter and moving towards actually being able to do things. But what now I kind of want to do is go through all 4 of these and just run through a simple use case to kind of show what they're actually capable of. And what I was wanting to do and planning to do is just a simple kind of trip planning experiment or kind of use case. So I'm gonna paste this into each of the models, kind of what I want out of this. Kind of just, I'm not planning this. I wish I was, but we're not, unfortunately. But kind of planning a 3-day trip to Charleston, South Carolina for 2 adults. I wanted to actually get the live data for like the hotels, airfare, all those things, and then make sure it's under the specific budget that I give it. And then within those dates that it finds, I wanted to actually generate an itinerary for this trip. So what I'm going to do here is, and I've kind of played with this a little bit before the stream. So I want to plan a 3-day trip to Charleston, South Carolina for 2 adults, Friday, June 12th to Sunday, June 14th, 2026, $1,500 budget. Foodie leaning, prefer good foods over fancy hotels. Flying out of CVG, it's the closest hotel to us. The one thing I will caveat with this is this. Specifically for Gemini and Grok, you have to specify, if you wanted to actually get the live data for the hotels and the airfare, you have to specify, I want you to use your web search capability to find actual current prices. When I did this in Gemini and Grok, it just, it gave me very generic information, said it'll be about this price, between this price range, and it didn't give me specific dates. So as I was kind of working through this, kind of had to give it this push to make sure that it's doing that. So we're going to run it here. We'll do Claude as well. Turn on research so that way it's, going to generate a very detailed report. And then Grok. Okay. Disable tools. So for all of these, when you enable like research or deep research, it will give you, it'll generate basically a plan, a research plan. The one thing I like about Google is, or Gemini, it will actually give you this detailed plan that you can kind of review before you start it, where the others kind of just jump into it. And if you were to kind of look at their thinking, you can see that it's actually pulling information from these websites. It's going and pulling all the airfare data, the hotel data, all that information. Kind of same thing here. It's going and doing this. The finding the kayak is probably going to be the where it actually generates the cheapest flights from. Same thing with Google, Grok. Again, it's going doing the exact same thing. So you can start to see like the capabilities of all these models is pretty good, pretty even, I would say, in terms of how accurate they are. Some of them are much faster than others. Sometimes with Gemini, it can, I would say, do too much research. It's probably going to look at like 70 different websites when it really doesn't need to do that. So I think Grok, ChatGPT, those are going to be the quickest. Claude and Gemini, this is consistent from what I've done, is I would say slower in this type of like getting sources and finding information. But let's start with Grok. So CVG to Charleston, June 12th, 2 adults. Let's go and actually look at the flights that it generated. So it said 625 round trip. Let's see what it said. Yeah, and this is another common theme where it said live prices can't be extracted. This is just something that Google has built into their platforms to where the AI agents can actually access this information. But what you'll find with Google is it will probably give me the exact details because it's just searching Google Flights, which Google owns. So it's able to actually go and get that information to where the other ones might not be able to. So let's go back to Grok, Allegiant, nonstop, possible. So it actually, this is the one thing that you kind of have to specify is give me the link of what you're kind of referencing so I can go and verify it. If you don't specify that, it will not give you that. Unless, like I said, unless you specify that. So that's something that as you're prompting all of these, you kind of want to make sure that you're telling it, use your web search capability to go and find actual live data. Give me the links for what you're referencing so I can double check it. And also Google Flights, I don't know how, I don't fly that often, but from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it has like the cheaper flights like Frontier, Allegiant, those types of things. So that's why I would say Allegiant, where it was referencing Allegiant, kind of where it was kind of pulling that information from. So as you can see, I mean, this did gives you, well, early dinner. So this link doesn't work. That's something that, is this even a real place? Let's see. Charleston. Leon Oyster Shop. Oh, so it just forgot the shop. So yeah, there's some of these models are good at extracting links, some of them aren't. Claude's going to take forever. I will just give that caveat because of the safety and making sure that it's actually generating accurate information. It can kind of be a little bit longer. One thing I like about Google is you can actually export this to Google Docs once it's done, and it can pull up the entire brief for you. So that way, if you're generating this for your husband or wife, you can email this to them, copy and paste it, whatever you want to do to it. But it will give you all those links as well. Let's just see if this is CFG, $297 round trip. So for 2 individuals is the close all these, that way I don't get. But yeah, this is what I like about all of these models is they're very good at following directions now. Before you had to like put this long prompt in to make sure it followed everything that you were specifically asking. Nowadays you don't really have to do that. It's gonna, if you give it enough context, it will do probably 95% of what you want it to. If you don't feel like typing, just use a voice dictation software to really just talk to it and say, this is what I want, this is how I want you to give it to me. So that way you're able to actually get what you want. But yeah, it's looking at the weather, all those things, to what you should pack, everything. It's kind of remarkable of, like I said, the ability of these models to go and get information. Gives you all the sources. Proposed travel strategies successfully balances high-end culinary desires with strict fiscal discipline. Success of this weekend trip relies on 3 operational guidelines. Let's look at ChatGPT. Let's see what it produced. So yeah, as you can see, Claude, 309 sources. That's a little overkill. Stuff like this, I would go to probably Google, only because I think Google has owned search for decades. So they have all that information that they can train on. And have trained their models on, so it's going to be like super fast and super detailed in terms of how many resources and sources they're getting. And this is another thing that Delta One Stop that I've noticed with ChatGPT is kind of gives that range again because of the shifting dates, or not shifting dates, the shifting prices. So like I said, depending on what you're trying to get out of the AI and what you're trying to focus on, might determine what model you're going to use. Again, this Claude, probably overkill. It's really overkill. 323 sources, unless it comes back with like a completely accurate report. For this use case, where I'm kind of doing this in a hour and 15 stream, minute stream, this is a little overkill. But if you set this and forget it, go pick up your kids and come back, this won't have any time implications on it. But I mean, it's something that if you're looking for quick information to kind of, oh, I closed Gemini, didn't I? Nope, wrong thing. Yeah, if you're trying to just start a search and kind of get an idea if what you're wanting to do is affordable and feasible. AI is a great thing that you can use. Travel agents are expensive. This can be your personal travel agent to kind of go through and make sure what you're wanting to do is actually feasible, and kind of give you a breakdown of everything. So again, this is kind of an easy use case to kind of highlight all of these. So right now, Claude, as expected, as I would expect, takes the longest. I think that's just kind of their safety precautions. Make sure that it's giving you the accurate information. Not saying that the other 3 models aren't giving you accurate information. They just have a lot more safeguards before they present information, to where the other models kind of don't follow that same process. But it's writing the report here. But yeah, I'm kind of just tonight just wanted to kind of expose everyone to kind of the 4 big players, kind of highlight what they're good at, what they're bad at. I don't think any of them are really bad at anything nowadays. I think they're all super capable at, I would say 90% of the use cases that people are going to be using them for. It's just really kind of trying to determine which model you want. So if I were to give kind of a tip, try all of them, see which ones you like the most. All of the ones that I've kind of highlighted here have a pretty significant free plan to where you can actually get all of that information. So yeah, this is giving, small bag, weather gear, footwear, clothing. It gives like super detailed information. Different scenarios. That's something that the other models didn't do. Scenario A, B, scenario C. So I would say Anthropic is, I'm biased. Like I said, I use this one every day. I kind of expected this, that it would give multiple options. That's kind of how it operates. It's not going to, most likely give you inaccurate information. It's going to specifically get you what you want and give you multiple scenarios. That's kind of how the model is designed. But yeah, kind of just wanted to highlight all of these 4 models. But what I would recommend is try them all. See which ones are good for the use cases that you want to use, and see which ones you might use all 4 of them. Who knows? But when I started off with ChatGPT, kind of switched to Claude, and honestly, I haven't looked back. I have been using Claude primarily as my daily driver for about 2 years now. I still mess with the others just to keep up with it. But for my specific use case and development and kind of those things, Anthropic's been one that I'm familiar with and I'm comfortable with, and I at this point I don't see a reason to change. But as you're getting into this, you can kind of test the ones that you like, see which ones work best for you. You might be a very visual person, kind of. So Gemini might be the best for you if you're on your phone a lot. Gemini with the app is something that the other 3 don't have. They all have apps, but the capabilities within that app, I would say Gemini, for like the visual purposes, are kind of above and beyond the other 3. But yeah, go ahead and I would just say try all 4 of them. See which one you like, and then kind of make that decision. Is it worth paying $20? They're all about $20 for the cheapest plan a month, and kind of go from there. So if anybody's watching this back later, from tonight. Thank you so much for kind of joining me for the last hour, kind of diving into these. And I hope to see you guys soon, and check out the Stream 3. All right, have a great night.